and it's great to see everyone here in this comfortable space. This is terrific, and I'd like to start by saying thanks to the MEF team for all of the work that goes into setting these events up. It's not a trivial exercise. Just coming straight off Barcelona, which was a terrific event, and here we are in Miami. So privileged really to be here and be able to spend a few minutes talking about what is, we don't need to see that, there we go. So just a few minutes here. I'm not going to speak as long as Dario, and I am actually quite impressed that at this time of the morning he is very energetic. So I feel like I've got to continue that theme, and I'll do the best that I can. I want to spend a few minutes this morning talking about the role of information exchange and the importance of information exchange when fighting fraud. And any really good solution, fraud fighting solution, is underpinned by the need or the essential, I think, exchange of real-time information and data between us. And all of us in this room come from different parts of the industry. We all represent different segments, and we're all related in some way. Maybe some of us are competitors, maybe some of us are partners, maybe some of us are vendors, maybe some of us are all three of those things at one time, Dave Stewart. So I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about what brings us together. And it's true that everyone in this room is united by a common enemy, and that's the fraudster. And in doing this, and I really wish I would have had a big screen behind me, but I didn't get any laughs here with the slide, so hopefully this doesn't fall too flat. But in thinking about fighting the common enemy, and that's the fraudster, we really all need to bring our superpowers together. And I think that's the message today. We all have different things that we bring to the table, and we all have different strengths, and we all need to work together to do that. I have to say, I'm not a Marvel's comic fan. I don't watch the movies, I don't watch the TV shows, but they've obviously done a really good job on me because this is the first thing that came to mind. I also thought about putting names against the characters. That would have been a lot of fun, but there were too many names and not enough characters, so I elected not to do that. So, fraud, fighting the common enemy. What are our superpowers, and what do we need to do to move this topic forward? We've been talking about this a long time. We continue to talk about it. Last year's event here in Miami was a terrific one. I think it was one of the highlights of the year in terms of these events. And here we are talking about it again. So what do we need to do to accelerate this? Well, the first thing and most obvious thing is to collaborate. We all have different tools. We all have different things that we bring to the table. And collaborating is absolutely key. There is no one party in this room that has the solution to this problem for our industry. Speed is the next thing. We need to go fast. The people doing this that we're fighting against, they aren't encumbered by regulation. They don't have budgets to work within. They don't have any of the constraints that many of us have in terms of fighting this fight. So working together and doing it quickly. And we're also here to talk about not just solutions for 2 years or 3 years out. It's not like we're here talking about 6G and rolling out 6G networks. We're talking about a now problem for this industry that we need to really accelerate and solve. The next thing that we need to do is to be adaptable. So as soon as we close down any of these paths, we know the fraudsters are adaptable. We need to adapt, and we need solutions that are adaptable. And the last thing is we need to speak a common language. We've all been working with APIs in this industry for a very, very long time. They enable us to speak a common language and do all of these things that I'm describing, to be able to work together easily, to go faster, to be adaptable. So this is all foundational stuff, and it all leads to real-time information exchange. So this is really, it may seem obvious, but it's not as obvious as it sounds, particularly when we're in a particular part of the market that I'll talk about in a moment, and this is something that continually comes up. Real time is absolutely critical. Exchanging lists of information that are days, weeks, months old is really performative and not of too much value. It doesn't help solve these problems. The other thing that these types of solutions require, they need to be able to scale, to telecom scale. They need to be low latency. And most importantly, they need to be able to protect the rights of the data provider. So they need to be, in terms of distribution, in terms of sending data out via APIs, it needs to be policy-based. Right, so all of these things are foundational and absolutely essential to any of these solutions. So I'm going to spend another minute or two talking about Netnumber, one of Netnumber's superpowers. What's our superpower if we're talking about that? Some of you in the room know who we are. Many of you in the room work with us. Some of you work with us inadvertently. You may not know you work with us. But for those of you who don't know who Netnumber is, one of the things that we do and have been doing for the industry for over the last 15 years is we're the authoritative registry for text-enabling long codes in North America. So you can see there, or maybe hopefully you can see on the slide there, over 70 provisioners, 200 downstream customers, and over 200 million numbers in the Netnumber Services Registry, the NNSR. The original name for the NNSR was the OSR, so maybe some of you know this as the OSR. Things have moved on, the services have moved on, and it's now the NNSR. So I wanted to spend a couple of minutes here just talking about some of the use cases. And like I said, we're text-enabling long codes, so 10DLC, A to P, which is a topic of today, text-enabling toll-free numbers. This is the registry that achieves that in North America. So the first use case I'd like to touch upon is that of TCR and 10DLC A to P. So again, in terms of standing up the TCR process, this is a great example going back to the 2017-2018 timeframe of working together and collaborating, and we're actually the number registry part for that 10DLC A to P process. So we're the registry where the number is associated with all of the campaign information, the attributes, the properties. We're the place that the number is actually associated at that point and then distributed to industry. This would have been a much heavier lift for industry had TCR had to build this entire end-to-end process, and then industry then have to implement a whole new distribution mechanism. All of this was already in place with the NNSR. So again, in terms of working together and collaborating and doing all of the things that I just described, case in point here. The next one is Somos. Friends here from Somos. Somos is one of those parties that we both compete with. We're a vendor and a partner all simultaneously. So we've been working with Somos. One of the things that we've done for, I think, 6 or 7 years now, during the process of text enabling a toll-free number. For those of you who don't know, when that occurs, we work with Somos and we validate that a number is actually, a toll-free number is voice-enabled during the process of, or before we text enable that number. So that's a very important part of the process. Again, collaboration across the industry, making sure that we're working together. And in fact, I think we're going to announce here in the next week or two with a press release that we're collaborating on DNO. So we're taking DNO data from Somos, we're integrating that into our number check product, which is a dynamic DNO solution. So again, working together to better the ecosystem for the industry. And we're in a really unique position here with the NNSR. So again, in talking about superpowers, like I said, we've been doing this a long time. Interestingly, 1 in 4 numbers in the US that can send and receive a text message is a non-mobile number. Right? So 200 million numbers, if you think about the number population in the US, this is essential. And one of the really good, I think, the foresight that maybe the industry had, which sets us all in better stead today than we would have been, is the fact that the NNSR exists avoids spoofing for this number population. So this is a really important aspect of what we do. So as time has gone on, you can think of it like a sender ID registry in that sense. it's protecting the industry against spoofing for this number population. So with that, I'd like to end with, no one here has the solution on their own. We're all here to work together. We're part of the industry and part of the solution. And looking forward to progressing discussions and some of the product releases we have coming up in the first half of this year with some of you in the room. So with that, I'll hand it back to TJ.
All right. Thank you, Steve.